Indiana Jones is out in early access. The reviews are out. It's gotten great reviews. Some people are saying it's one of the best Xbox's releases in years. But what is the performance like of this game graphically, frames per second, all of that stuff? We will take a look at that. A bunch of games are coming to Game Pass that weren't previously announced. So that's pretty cool. It's always nice when you see random ones do drop into the service. Ubisoft is still in talks for selling. There's an update on that. And we know what the next big game here for Hazelight is going to be, at least the name of it. We should see more of this at the Game Awards. But before we jump into this any further, if you do enjoy daily gaming news and content, make sure to hit that subscribe, share the video, like the video, all that stuff. And let's jump into it here with Indiana Jones and the performance review. As we know, Digital Foundry does this with every game. They take a look at how this game does function. I like to focus here on the console side of things because we've already talked a bit about the PC side and the specs that you need to play this game. Pretty hefty. You need a pretty powerful PC. And there was a question about this people were bringing up. There was a lot of weird things happening before the release of Indiana Jones. First of all, you had the crowd that thought, okay, this game is going to be terrible because they are waiting for the review embargo at 7 p.m. on the day of early access or the night of early access when people would be able to go in there and play it. And I would say that sometimes does indicate, yes, there's something that these developers potentially don't want out before people actually go out and play the game. But obviously that was not the case here with Machine Games. And if you look at the history of Machine Games, they've just knocked it out of the park with all of their releases. So I had no fear about that. And clearly that was not the case as the reviews have been out. And then the second thing, people are looking at the PC specs and saying, is this game just badly optimized? That's why you need such powerful hardware in order to get the best of it. Looks like that isn't the case as well. Overall, this game well optimized for PC and very well optimized for the consoles. We have this here. If you have an Xbox Series X or S, you're going to have a great experience with this game regardless. So a lot of cool stuff here that they use id Tech, of course, and it's an internal engine that Xbox could use for, I think, a lot of their games out there. You have to ask yourself, why aren't they utilizing id Tech more now that they do own Bethesda on other development studios? Because it does look like id Tech is one of the best out there from all of the stuff that we have seen previously from Doom. Now we're seeing here with Indiana Jones. They've done some great stuff here with the game on the console. So that's despite the cost of RTGI, which is ray tracing global illumination, the Great Circle still targets 60 FPS, an impressive feat, especially considering the high average resolution. On the Xbox Series X, the game's internal resolution is around 1800p on average, with dynamic resolution scaling in use and clean overall image quality. It's a huge leap over the string of UE5 titles we've seen with sub 1080p resolution when ray tracing is enabled at 60 frames per second. So it's extremely impressive. They're getting ray tracing 60 FPS in a relatively high internal resolution. And you have to say, I mean, you look at a lot of games that do struggle with all of this stuff put into a single package on the console. id Tech is doing a very good job, in Machine Games, absolutely wizards here on the Xbox Series X, putting this game out and making it run the way that it does. So very exciting. I really think Xbox needs to look at id Tech for more of the studios, if that's even something that can happen. Obviously, games are in development. You have people hired at these studios that know how to use the engines that they currently use. So it's probably a bigger venture than just bringing that over to another studio to use it. However, I definitely think it's something they should consider with the expertise they now have and just seeing what it can do with games like Indiana Jones, which looks absolutely phenomenal. Now, what's even more impressive here is the Xbox Series S. Yes, it's the Series S. The game's not going to look as good. It is going to be a little bit muddy in the graphics if you're playing it on a big screen. That's what you kind of should expect when you're paying the amount you pay for a Series S and what the point of that console is. But it says here, the Xbox Series S is even more of a challenging platform and one where we've seen RT features dropped on many releases. Here, though, ray tracing global illumination is a requirement, and I would guess that's because it's first-party Xbox, so they want to have that in all of the games on both the S and the X, and this does show devs can make it happen if they want to make it happen. It says, so Machine Games needed to take a different approach to ensure a good visual outcome. Internal resolutions are still relatively high at around 1080p, but the game relies on variable rate shading like Doom Eternal did on Xbox. This technique attempts to reduce quality in areas not of visual interest, which is a very smart technique, in my opinion. It says, which drives up performance but can sometimes manifest like video encoding artifacts. The issue isn't serious on the Series X, but on the Series S, the combination with the lower resolution and TAA can produce a smeary mess that doesn't hold up well on a large display, though probably would be fine enough on a smaller handheld handheld screen. I think that does kind of show here a little bit of a hint as to what the handhelds potentially could be targeting, a Series S style of performance. Now they continue here and say the game's asset quality has also been reduced with lower res textures contributing to an 87 gigabyte install size versus 130 gigabyte on the Series X. Ray tracing quality is also reduced with less precision overall. That opens the door to light leak and other artifacts or changes. Still, while it's clear that the visuals take a hit on the Series S, I would say they've done a better job than usual creating a version of the game that still plays well and looks okay enough. And then they go on here and talk about the frame rates, which are very impressive as well. The frame rate is virtually unwavering at 60 frames per second during actual gameplay on both the Series X and the Series S, combining large levels, ray tracing, global illumination, and a 60 FPS update rate is no mean feat. Loading times are also amazingly quick. There's virtually zero visible loading in the game at all, making it completely seamless. And they also say, this is a side note and not on the graphic side of things, but beyond that, I think this is one of the best licensed games I've ever played. So I think that is pretty impressive here, what we are seeing, not only in terms of gameplay and story and all the stuff that you review a game off of, but also on the actual performance outcomes that Machine Games using Tech has been able to achieve here on both the Series X and the Xbox Series S. So that's kind of the quick overview here of the tech side of things of Indiana Jones on the X and the S. Tech, Machine Games, they've done an incredible job at optimizing this game properly. It makes you wonder when you see all of these issues prop up from other developers that do put their games in the, and some of them sometimes say there's it's annoying to develop for the Series S and stuff. I think at the end of the day, if you have the resources, the time, and you want to be able to, you can give some very good outcomes on the Xbox Series S. We talk about the Series S a lot here because to me, it's that little brother console that it has actually done very, very good throughout the generation, but gets a lot of flack every time it does anything negative. Overall, I think there's been way more wins on it. And I think Indiana Jones will be another one of those. I'll be checking it out on both the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S, but this is a complete game. I mean, it's released in a very good form, which is the key for Xbox releases going forward, is that when they release, they're not broken, they're not buggy, they don't need a million updates here to get it running and playing well. It releases as a full release, and you're going to see the effects of that has going forward with, I guess, people's perception of first-party Xbox games. So Indiana Jones is a step definitely in that direction, a major step, especially when you look back on a game like Redfall and how that game did release. So pretty cool stuff there, and I can't wait to jump in. Now, if you're a fan of Game Pass, you're a subscriber to the service, there are some more games coming here. They just randomly announced yesterday. So it's 2 games here, and that is the first one here, Crytek Hunt Showdown 1896, coming on December 12th. And that is a first-person online game, like a bounty hunting game. So if you've ever wanted to play that, now it is coming over to Game Pass on these. There's also the Game Awards Day, and another one here that is also coming over is 4 Kings 2, which is also coming on December 12th. And this, they say here, follows suit by bringing innovative and exciting gameplay to a much-loved RPG that blends the borders of roguelite elements and tabletop gameplay. There's multiplayer, grid-based combat, fantastical adventure, and is flooded with opportunities for terrible party decisions. So this is a grid RPG style game, a turn-based style of game coming on December 12th, a sequel to the first one. And both of these coming on December 12th has me asking, are these just kind of getting out there now before the Game Awards, where we will see more Game Pass announcements and more just major announcements overall from every company, but Xbox as well specifically? We are seeing some hype up on X right now from some major game companies and game journalists that the Game Awards will be good. There will be some big announcements to look forward to. So we'll see. I mean, you never know. There is always a little bit of hype for people wondering what is going to be brought to the show. I think last year, if I remember correctly, it was actually relatively disappointing in the overall big announcements that they did have. And that may just kind of be that year where they had to take a little bit of a break. There wasn't too much things ready to be shown off. In this year's Game Awards, maybe that one where we get a lot of wow moments, maybe some more hardware. That would be cool to see, because I still remember when Xbox showed off the Series X at the 2019 Game Awards, how cool that was. I would love to see something like that again, maybe a handheld or maybe just a glimpse at the future of what they are planning with their hardware from all of the talk that is going on here as to what people want and what people are expecting from the Xbox side of things. Now, another game that was originally off of Xbox, this one caused a lot of controversy because it had something to do with emails not being answered with the ID at Xbox program. And that's the reason why they couldn't get it out on the platform on release date with the other platforms. That is Inotria, the last song. We now know when this one's also releasing, the same date, December 12th. So 3 games here releasing on to Xbox on December 12th, 2 of them going to Xbox Game Pass. But this is Inotria, the last song. They say it's finally coming to Xbox Series X next consoles next week. And this, I believe, is kind of like a Souls style of game, kind of like a Lies of P styles of game. And this is from the developer Giamma Games. So this game caused a lot of chat, not for the actual game itself. I don't think it got even great reviews or anything. I don't know how many people actually ended up picking up and playing this game, but it got a lot of talk online because of the whole idea at Xbox stuff that did occur with it. And we also potentially will be seeing a big announcement from Hazelight at the Game Awards, and they are the team here behind A Way Out and It Takes Two. It Takes Two, if you remember, one game of the year. That's an absolutely phenomenal game. I think it deserved it when it did win. And they're going to be making another game, but this comes via Bilbil Kun. They say Hazelight Studios' next game, Split Fiction, is releasing March 6, 2025, with reveal this month, likely at the Game Awards. So if you're a fan of Joseph Fares, you're a fan of Hazelight, you can expect more information on his next game next week. Can't believe it's already at the Game Awards. I can't believe we're already into midway through December by the time we hit the show next week, which is pretty crazy. So I'm excited for that. I will definitely be tuning in and watching. And finally, Ubisoft, they've had a terrible year overall with everything that has happened. Even just the other day with X Defiant being announced that they are sunsetting it. They're closing this game down in June, which is definitely unfortunate. They had to close 2 studios because of that. Ubisoft San Francisco and Ubisoft Osaka. Their stock has been plummeting. And then there's all this talk now about buyout. And are somebody going to come in here and pick up Ubisoft, specifically Tencent, as they already have a major share in the company itself? We were talking about that a couple of weeks ago, and now there is an update here from Reuters about exactly what is happening. And it's kind of what I have expected, to be completely honest. This is not surprising to me. The Guillemot family doesn't want to release their overall power in this company. They want to give up the decision making in it, which people will argue and say, oh, they suck, they should, but it makes sense. They built this thing from the ground up. They're not just going to relinquish it because people are telling them to do it. So at the end of the day, they're going to want to still stay in power and still want to be able to be part of the major decision makings for Ubisoft. And that, I think, is right now is what's stalling any of the talks and the potential buyout happening. It says here, the Guillemot family, which is the largest and founding shareholder, has been in talks with Tencent and other investors in recent weeks about funding a management-led buyout of France's largest video games maker, the People said, speaking on condition of anonymity. It says, however, the Guillemot family has indicated it would like to retain the control it has over the company, which also makes Just Dance, Far Cry, and Tom Clancy's video game series as part of the deal, the People said. And Tencent, currently the second largest shareholder in Ubisoft and China's biggest social network and gaming firm, has yet to decide whether to participate in the buyout and increase its stake in the company, one of the People said. Specifically, they go on here and say, discussions between the two parties are ongoing as Tencent also wants to prevent any potential hostile takeover of Ubisoft by other investors, adding that Tencent's plan is to remain patient and wait for the founding family to agree to a deal. And Tencent may opt not to increase its stake in Ubisoft as it considers its current direct holding of almost 10% in Ubisoft sufficient for maintaining its gaming business cooperation with the company. Now, Tencent declined to comment. A representative of the Guillemot family declined to comment, but a spokesperson for Ubisoft said, we remain committed to making decisions in the best interest of our stakeholders. And in this context, as we have already indicated, the company is also reviewing all of its strategic options. So nothing really major there in terms of an update, but I think the key thing here is that a deal would be made at some point if they can make a deal that the Guillemot family can still have the power to make decisions over the company itself. And you have to ask yourself, is that better or worse versus Tencent taking over? Because we Tencent, a major company, China's biggest gaming company, and we're seeing a lot of stuff that they do just in terms of basically copying other styles of games. Like you look at the Motrium game with it looks like it's copying Horizon Zero Dawn. There's a lot of stuff there that you have to ask yourself, would this be an overall good thing for the company if Tencent were to take it over, or is somebody else going to sweep in here and try to purchase up a larger stake to become the overall owners of Ubisoft while allowing the Game.l family to actually still maintain their overall power and decision making? I mean, you never know. It could be a PlayStation, it could be an Xbox, because Ubisoft, even as of right now, aren't doing good, but they are, well, you could say, at the bottom. If someone's going to buy it, now it's time to buy it, because Ubisoft, I think, will go back up at some point with the amount of IPs and games that they do have. Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to be a huge game for them. Even with the controversy surrounding it, I don't think it's going to hurt the sales as much as some people make it out. But that's just my thoughts on it. I'm going to end the video there. If you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.
We'll be right back.